Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back at a very special day. A day special to my heart, special to your heart, and probably special to someone else's out there too. I can't see all of you. And of course, I am talking about the Dreamcast. As of today, the system turned 20. And it's been a awesome 20 year with new games still coming out most of the time, indie stuff or like ports of older game from other systems that have kind of come into our life to keep the dream indeed alive for the Dreamcast. With it turning 20 years old today, I thought it might be a good opportunity to go down memory lane and tell you some of my personal Dreamcast story and how much the system kind of meant to me, still mean to me. To be honest, it's still my favorite system of all time. In retrospect, I didn't have a lot of it in my life, which we will get into. But before we do any of that, if you enjoyed that video, make sure you do the like, favorite, subscribe, comment, upvote, downvote. You do what you do. You know how that goes. So let's get into some history, shall we?
Hi, Randy.
Well, hello.
It's thinking.
Oh, going back to 1999 when the Dreamcast came out. And I was 11, maybe 12. I had no idea it existed. Just because, for anyone who grew up in the late 80s, early 90s, leading into, the late 90s, keeping up with video game knowledge was a very, convoluted hobby to have, especially with pretty much without the select few of you wonderful people who had, basic internet back in the 90s. For the most part, if you want to get your information back then, you got it from magazines or word to mouth type of deal from your buddies. And yeah, pretty much all my friends at the time just stopped caring about Sega stuff. Pretty much after the Sega Saturn kind of killed it for so many people I grew up around. And then on top of that, it didn't exactly help with me moving to a brand new town. Well, everybody I was around didn't care because the only thing that mattered was the PS1 at that point. And I get technically the N64 in some degrees. I could, it always that one kid over there. For me, that was all about the N64. Everybody else was totally PS1. And honestly, with growing up being, in retrospect, I get bluntly just put it, we were poor. Yeah, magazine didn't happen often. I pretty much got a magazine once every 2 months or so, give or take. And because of that, I did not realize the Dreamcast really was a thing at all. It just, pretty much after the Sega Saturn, I was I get disconnected from Sega in a lot of ways. And in return was also much more on the PS1 side. Something happened a couple months after launch that led to my magical moment with the Dreamcast, which was, of course, the marketing for two games. Two massive games. One of them maybe massive than the other, and the other one might not be looked back upon nearly as fondly as some other in the series have. And of course, the two games I am speaking of is Resident Evil Code Veronica and Shamu. Because honestly, at the time, there was commercial for Shamu everywhere, and didn't really help with not realizing at the time that Shamu was not completely, but in some way, the last great hurrah for the Dreamcast in some ways. So yeah, not realizing that, and with being a huge Resident Evil fan, me and my brother both absolutely loved Resident Evil, and to this day still do. And then with the commercials, and then the stuff I did see in magazines of that time period talking about Shamu, and talking about the whole idea of free invention of a new genre, that being tied to Virtual Fighter, which I freaking love Virtual Fighter. To this day, it's still easily probably my second or third favorite fighting game series of all time. And you just mix all that together with Shamu, it just hit the perfect storm of just magic. Which I will do a Shamu video down the line, sooner or later, probably sooner, because I still got to make some stuff for some Kickstarter documentary stuff here. That, once again, story for another time on that one. Everything about Shamu was super magical with the idea of what it was. With the virtual fighter stuff, with the combat, with the open area, the weather system, the actual like investigation part of it. Stuff that we did not see a lot of, especially on console of that time period. And on top of that, with the release of Code Veronica being exclusive to the Dreamcast at the time, it was a done deal. Like, at that point, my brother and we ready to walk and roll with this. And in return, we went and bought the Dreamcast. I don't remember if it was around the time of Code Veronica launch, because like I said, dealing with magazines and hearsay back in the time, it get a little difficult figuring out what time period stuff was actually happening in relation to when they were actually coming out, which I'm pretty sure most of you can agree with, especially at that time. So we bought our Dreamcast. I think we paid like $200 for it. I think it was like $200 from my memory, and ended up buying it. We got Resident Evil, Code Veronica, we got Shenmue, and then the demo disc happened, which was a whole nother can of worms here. So the demo disc that I ended up having, which I think it might have been the only demo disc that actually did release that leap of pack-in with the console, was, of course, a disc that had a few games on it. The majority of the ones offhand I remember is, of course, Sonic Adventure, because you gotta have that because it's Sega. They had a demo for Dead or Alive 2, which was the fourth time I ever played Dead or Alive, which my Dead or Alive love, once again, could be another video. The other ones I remember of being Rayman and MDK2. MDK2 was the only game, for whatever reason, on the PS2 it never done anything to me, but on the Dreamcast, that game was the only game that ever made me motion sick of that generation. I have no idea why. I have no idea, but like I have memories of running around in MDK2 and the dog with like 5 arms, whatever his name was, and just being dead like 10 minutes in. I don't know. Pretty much that demo disc was another thing that was so ingrained into me, because I played like Dead or Alive pretty much every day off of that demo disc. And I would say I did Sonic as well, but the thing was about Sonic was Sonic Adventure was the next game I ended up picking up, because, well, Sonic, and originally back in like 99, 2000, that demo, or just that game in general was, once again, another like magical moment. Any, and not degraded by any standard nowadays, but, at the time, the graphics, the sound, and the openness of it all was just enough to sell anyone on it at the time. So between the demo disc, Shenmue, Resident Evil, it was great. Like, I was in heaven. And then a little bit afterwards, we ended up going to a Walmart. We went to, like, to get an idea of how small a town I lived in, was we had to drive an hour to get to a Walmart that we could only get to like twice a month, because it was, so far away, or once every 2 months. Ended up going one time, and we found a whole bunch of games like sitting on a counter in a box. They were selling them for like $10 a pop. At the time, didn't think anything, because it's just like, oh, more Dreamcast games, and cheap Dreamcast game. So ended up picking up Bingayo, MTV Skateboarding, actually getting Sonic Adventures. I got, a decent amount of Dreamcast games at that moment, and was head over heel fully in love, like 100% invested, just because like so much of the Dreamcast library, and in return probably why it stick with all but so highly, at least for me anyway, it just mainly because of how magical and how everything on that console didn't exactly have a translation to any other console. Like, so many IPs was on that system that was so unique, and nothing like it anywhere else, and in some cases still not like it in any today games or games that came afterwards, which I guess you could say some of the original Xbox lineup kind of did, but then again, most of them was also made by Sega. So that time period of Sega would just feel like the most like magical time because of all of this. Very quickly, pretty much right after I ended up getting all the game, I ended up finding out, oh, it'd been discontinued. And that why all the game was like $10. And that thing I know by the time made it back to the town that had like the Sam Goody's, Own Q's, EB Games, Walmart, that type of deal. The Dreamcast was just gone. Like, I stopped seeing game for it, probably because most of them was already been scrapped or sold off at that point. Like, the console was just dead. And very quickly, my Dreamcast experience ended. And it ended with only like a handful of games, like maybe like 10, 15 games as a whole. It left such an impression on me. And so much of my impression of that time period and the Dreamcast as a whole, any nowadays going back playing the game, is no other generation have captured that feeling of just pure wonder as the Dreamcast did. And to be totally honest, to this day, 20 years later now, the Dreamcast is still my favorite console of all time. So, with that, my dudes, let me know in a comment what your memories of the Dreamcast. Was it as magical for you? Did you have a Dreamcast? What game did you have? Let me know in the comments below. And let reminisce about 20 years of our life gone and still how strong of a library and how strong of a system the Dreamcast truly was.